Hi guys, this is Mason Miller with Game Array. The date is December 31st, 2015, and it's been a heck of a year. Not just for the channel, but for video game releases in general. I think sometime in the future we'll talk about 2015 the same way we talk about 2004 or 1998. You know, these huge years with just one killer release after another. I truly believe that 2015 will be a high watermark for this generation, so I wanted to take the time to talk about a handful of games I politely recommend from the past year. The first of which is going to be Bloodborne. Few games capture the spirit of cosmic horror like Bloodborne did. Everything about it, from level design to mechanics, is tailor-fit to the game's tone. Its atmosphere hangs over the player as a constant threat, overbearing and oppressive. And some of the enemy designs are so unique that you'll have a hard time getting them out of your brain long after finishing. Of course, I adore it on a mechanical level as well, but I also fell in love with Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 before it. Honestly, Bloodborne's unique take on Lovecraftian horror has got me more excited for Bloodborne 2 than Dark Souls 3. Next is Rare Replay. Rare Replay is a collection of 30 games developed by Rare during its 30-year-long history. I grew up with a lot of these titles. Games like Banjo-Kazooie, Jet Force Gemini, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. And there's no question in my mind that Perfect Dark and Banjo-Tooie were two of the best games from the N64. I have a hard time not recommending this package on its value alone, but I think it's going to be a better buy for people who played those games when they came out and are aching for that nostalgia. I don't know how much I want to tell you about Undertale because the less you know about it going in, the better. It's an indie RPG inspired by old 16-bit games like Earthbound. The reason why it's on this list is the way it plays with and manipulates that expectation. I feel safe in saying that there really aren't any other games like Undertale. It's the kind of game that could possibly go on to influence others and cause noticeable shifts in game design over the course of the next generation. Another game I'd recommend is an interactive movie called Her Story. A lot of games have tried to capture the cat and mouse of real-life interrogation, and a lot of games have failed. Her Story is the first game where I really felt that tug, that game of minds where you're trying to read the subject just as much as the subject is trying to read the interrogator. It's just like playing through an episode of Serial or living out an interrogation in The Wire. Warhammer End Times Vermintide could easily be described as a very long title. It could easily be described as Left 4 Dead set in the world of Warhammer. But that would be doing the game a disservice. The varied characters and focus on melee combat makes the game just different enough to be worth playing, especially if you have 3 others join in. Playing the game with friends was the best co-op experience I had in the entire year, and not one I'll soon forget. It probably doesn't come to anyone's surprise that I've included The Witcher 3 on this list. For me, the game was a watershed moment, the first title that really met the promise of an open world game. There's so much the game does right. The way the map was designed, for instance, like a real place with distance between areas of civilization. Or the way our choices affect the people around us, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Or the way the world sounds and looks, how you can see trees sway with the wind, how you can hear forests breathe and warp around you. All that stuff makes The Witcher 3 feel distinctly alive, a feat that I don't really think has been accomplished until now. Starcraft 2, Legacy of the Void. There's a very specific group of people I want to make sure to recommend Legacy of the Void to. If you've played StarCraft 2 in the past and were maybe put off by the competitive ladder, then I'd recommend giving Legacy a shot. The new Commander and Archon modes both help quell ladder anxiety and bolster a decently sized multiplayer suite. Legacy has what you'd expect from a StarCraft expansion as well, a new campaign, new units, and balance changes. All in all, Legacy is an exciting addition for StarCraft and a great way to send off the trilogy. Protoss is a little overpowered right now though. Until Dawn. Until Dawn is probably my favorite adventure game since the first season of The Walking Dead. What I appreciate about Until Dawn above all else is its variety of endings. So many games focus on the illusion of choice, and Until Dawn does that too, but there are many times, mostly deep into the third act, when the choices you make actually do affect the outcome of the story. For the first time in the genre, I felt like characters' lives were actually in my hands. It wasn't just pretend. Pillars of Eternity is a huge, sprawling game, both mechanically and in terms of length. I loved every second of it. I have a fond place in my heart for old Infinity Engine games like Planescape and Baldur's Gate 2, but I didn't play either of those until years after they'd been released. I loved Pillars of Eternity on its own merits. My love for the game wasn't aided by nostalgia. But if you pine for the days of those traditional CRPGs, then you'll be in for a treat. It's rare that you see a game like this, with its old school sensibilities, get such a huge release. Pillars of Eternity, at least in my opinion, stands toe-to-toe with big AAA productions like The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4. Metal Gear Solid 5 is the most fun I've had while playing a video game in the past year. It has its issues, the end of the game being the big one, but I don't think I've ever played another open world game with such tight mechanics as MGS5. The options available to the player at any given point are astounding. What really got me coming back time and time again was how your actions on the field fed into your progression back at Mother Base. Everything you did had an effect. Every soldier sent back, every piece of equipment used, every bullet spent. Everything either had a reward or cost associated with it. I don't think I've ever seen that level of interconnectedness in a video game before. It made MGS5 a compulsive experience, and for me at least, it more than made up for its other issues. And those are just a handful of games I enjoyed over the past year. This year has been phenomenal. I didn't even talk about Life is Strange, Xenoblade Chronicles X, or Soma, all of which could have easily made this list. I hope you guys have a great new year. Thank you so much for the support throughout 2015, and there's more to come. Stay tuned.